Welcome to Questrade's webinar series. Thank you so much for joining us again. My name's John, and I'm your host from the Questrade education team. And here's our quick disclaimer. Don't worry, I'm not going to read the whole thing. Please remember that the information conveyed in this webinar is for informational educational purposes only and does not constitute advice or recommendations by Questrade. Any ticker symbols shown or analyst ratings displayed are for visual educational purposes only. Please conduct your own due diligence research before making any investment decisions. Without further ado, I'd love to introduce our guest speaker today. Julie Gillespie is a former financial advisor specializing in wealth management, now serving as the marketing manager at TipRanks. Julie is extremely passionate about investor education and even started her own finance-related YouTube channel before working at TipRanks. As the head of TipRanks TV, she now serves up daily stock market insights on their YouTube page and across a wide variety of other online channels. Originally from Canada, Julie joins us from sunny Florida today to take us through TipRanks' tools and to help everyone make more informed investment decisions. Thanks again, Julie, for being here to present, and take it away.
All right. Thank you so much for the introduction there, Jonathan. I'm really excited to be here. Like you said, passion for that financial education and to share some of our TipRanks tools that are available for all of your Questrade users here today. So to start off, a little bit of background on TipRanks and who we are as a company. Basically, we're trying to help level the playing field for retail investors, helping you all make different data-driven investment decisions. And we do this by trying to bring that institutional grade research tools that typically haven't been available to the normal retail investor and make it available and also easy to understand for everyone. We started off with a focus on accountability for Wall Street. So what this means is we kicked off the company basically wanting to track the performance of all these Wall Street analysts to see how successful their recommendations actually were, and then created this star ranking system based on that to help investors know who to listen to, who to trust on Wall Street there. So we drive the transparency for investors by measuring the performance of over 9,600 financial experts. Now, about 8,800 or so of those are Wall Street analysts, but we also take a look at financial bloggers, hedge funds, and corporate insiders, as there are a lot of people out there giving advice and weighing in on financial markets there. So this helps track all of those. And of course, the technology behind it, everything powered by AI now. We have artificial intelligence and a natural language processing that helps collect and collate all this amount of data. So it scans thousands, millions of websites out there, collecting all this data, and then bringing it back to TipRanks, where we put it out into some hopefully easy to understand, comprehensive tools that allow retail investors to do their research and make those data-driven investment decisions. And so today we're going to go over a few of our popular TipRanks tools that Questrade has incorporated into their platform, and that's available for all of you to use. So we're going to start things off with the daily ratings tab. And this, quite simply, just as it sounds, is going to show you all of those new price targets and ratings coming from analysts that exact day. So we have over 8,800 analysts that we're tracking. Here you're going to get a nice summary of newest ratings, whether a buy or sell, and what that new price target is. On top of that, you can also narrow down all of these stock ratings here by different criteria. So you're going to see a full list of all of the analysts in those ratings, but if you only wanted to say narrow in on some 5-star analysts, you can filter down this list by analyst performance up in the top. Analyst rating, so a little difference than their performance, but what the rating is that they've given this day, whether it's a hold, a buy, or a sell. And also the action. So if you're wanting to just see an upgrade or downgrade where the analyst has changed their rating from a previous one, it's a great way to narrow it down there, because you can see what has made their opinion change on the company. Otherwise, it's going to be reiterated or initiated or assigned actions there. And of course, you can filter down by market cap, as well as the upside and downside potential. So maybe you're only wanting to see some that have some big upside according to those certain analysts. On top of this, we also have a trending stocks page. And on the internet, of course, a lot of things can start trending quite easily. Stocks are no exception. And this, we're going to look at the trending stocks by analysts. So this means that these companies have been picking up a lot of buzz and excitement on Wall Street recently. Can be for a few different reasons. Often we'll see a stock trending because of a quarterly report that just came out, whether good or bad news. Different mergers or big news items relating to these companies can really cause it to be trending, where we have analysts weighing in. They're going to be coming out with their buy, sell, or hold ratings. And here is where we can search by best rated, worst rated, or most rated. So we're going to either have companies that are picking up a lot of attention, and it can either be a lot of buy ratings, which would be the best, or I'd have a lot of sell ratings coming in, which is also something you want to pay attention to when looking at these companies. So we can look at those, or most rated is simply going to be the companies picking up the most attention overall. And this, of course, we can filter down between the last month or 30 days, by 7 days, or just within the last 72 hours. So we have the three sections there that you can look at for the trending stocks. And then if you want, you can further filter down the results by market cap and market sectors as well, if you're looking for some specific inspiration. Now here, once we get those trending stocks, it'll show you a layout of all of them, how many ratings they've picked up in whatever time frame that you've selected. So right now, this example just shows the 30 days, how many ratings the company's gotten altogether, and how those break down between the buys, holds, and sells, and then the overall stock rating, which is the consensus from those total ones there. It's also going to show you some details like the last rating, how recently that came in, price changes from the day, and then also the average price target from all of these analysts and what type of upside or downside potential that would imply for the stock based on the current price it's at now. So you can sort these. Right now we have it sorted by most rated. So it's going to have the highest amount up at the top, but you can also sort by upside or price target or price of the company as well. So just depending what you want that view to look like. Our other thing that is very unique to TipRanks is our SMART score. And this is a scale out of 10 that looks at 8 unique factors and measures a stock's likelihood to outperform the overall market. So we have a few different categories here. If a stock scores an 8, 9, or a 10, that is an outperform rating and means that they're likely to outperform the overall market. 4 through 7 is going to be considered a neutral rating. And then 1 through 3 is going to be our underperform. Now, there's a few different, well, 8 different factors that we look at. Some are just the technicals as far as moving average and return on equity that's included in there. Of course, we have our Wall Street analyst ratings, and whether the stock comes in as a sell, a hold, or a buy is going to weigh in on this. But we also have some very unique points of data related to TipRanks. That includes some inside activity here, news sentiment, where we're measuring how much buzz the company is generating online and throughout the media. So we're scanning for how many articles are coming out on the companies and whether the sentiment of those is positive or negative. So that weighs in. With our smart portfolio, we're also able to weigh individual investor sentiment. So we have over 750,000 portfolios on TipRanks from different investors, and we can track how much people are like buying or selling there and whether the crowd wisdom on a stock is going in a positive or negative direction. So whether the general public is picking up more shares or less. And then we also are going to look at corporate insider transactions. So that is owners and directors, and if they're buying or selling their own stock, and as well as financial blogger opinions, which is very similar to the new sentiment, where we're scanning all of those financial blogs and seeing what type of buzz is happening with those. Now, what that's going to look like here is going to have that scale, and it's going to show you what that overall rating is. So just for example here, looking at Microsoft, they came in with a 9 out of 10 when we grabbed this. So it would be considered an outperform rating on the company. And then it's going to give you a quick overview down below about those 8 factors and how they weigh in here. So we can see we have positive technicals and fundamentals on the side there. New sentiment and blogger sentiment is bullish and very bullish. Our crowd wisdom, we can see positive trends in the last 30 days. People have increased their positions by about 1.4%. Strong buy analyst consensus. Now we do have a couple decrease in sold shares. So you might think, how can this come in as an outperform? But it is all weighted against other stocks as well. So it's not that every single thing on here has to be 100% bullish and positive. It's in comparison to all the other stocks out there in the market and all weighted as such. So this is going to give you the overview. Of course, you can then look further into each of these categories, but this is your high level on where that smart score is being driven from whatever particular stock you're wanting to take a look at. Now, our main bread and butter there, those analyst ratings that all come together in one place, is going to be this analyst ratings overview. So here is where you're going to see a much more in-depth summary of how those analyst ratings all come together. So in the example of Enbridge here, we had to pick a Canadian stock for Questrade. You're going to have your total amount of ratings up here on the top left. So in their case, they do come in as a hold based on 2 sells, 5 holds, and 3 buys. So we have a majority hold rating coming in there. Those range from a strong buy, moderate buy, hold, moderate sell to sell. So we kind of have 5 brackets along the way where those stock ratings can come in. and of course are based on the average of all the ratings coming into that as well. On the right, we're going to have the top analysts or all analysts at the very top. So right now we're looking at all analysts. You can narrow that down to just 5-star analysts as well if you're only wanting to see those top performers. And then we get into our price targets. So this chart here shows us a few different things. It's going to give us our average price target, which is of course all of those ratings coming into place, and then as well the upside or downside potential. The chart down below is going to show us our range of price targets as well. So you'll get an idea for a stock whether analysts are very close together in their price targets, or maybe we have some drastic outliers. In this case, we can see we have a range from $22 up to $58. So definitely some slightly differing opinions there. We'll show you how drastic those different price targets are, and the highest, lowest, and average, all summarized down here at the bottom. Now, it is important to note that we're taking a look at the last 3 months of analyst ratings. We believe this gives you the most accurate representation of what's actually happening on Wall Street and with the company. Then we'll see analysts reiterating price targets after a quarterly earnings report, and they can reflect on how the quarter went and what the company's projecting for the stock's future. So if we're looking at any price targets more than 3 months old, they're maybe not considering the most recent information. So that's why TipRanks chooses to focus in on those last 3 months to keep it the most accurate and up-to-date price target and information that we can for you. Down below, you're going to get your detailed list of analyst forecasts. Almost similar to the trending one there, we're going to see a lot more details. This is specific to those analysts and their ratings. So of course, you're going to see what analyst gave that stock rating, their star rating underneath, and the expert firm that they come from. You'll have the price target and their position, whether it's a hold, sell, or buy. And then the upside and downside related to their price target and what that would be from current prices. You can also see this action here, whether they reiterated, assigned, upgraded, or downgraded. That'll all show under the action, and then the date that their rating came here as well. So by default, this is going to sort by the newest dates. You can see those most recent analyst price targets, but of course, any of these columns you can toggle with if you're wanting to sort by that instead. And then one of my favorite features is over on the right-hand side, this little article button. So we can see the price target. Well, what this does will take us to where we've sourced that price target from. And they'll often have articles or a bit of a write-up on the reasoning behind their price target as well. So especially in the case if they've changed it to a hold, they might give you some background on why they're feeling less or more bullish depending on what they changed. So it gives you a bit more insight as to their thought process and some of the research behind the rating and why they rated it the way that they did. So you can always check those out to see exactly the background on those stock ratings. And of course, at the top here as well, we can narrow down the list if you're wanting to only look at, say, the top performing analyst ratings, or only buy ratings, or only upgrades or downgrades. You can always narrow down your list there as well. From that, we also have, this just shows that there too, sorry. I have the analyst performance. Like I said, if you only want to look at ratings coming from 4- or 5-star analysts or how they're rating the stock, that just shows the drop-down options to help clean up your search results down below. From that, we also have our news buzz or news sentiment section. This is great for a few different reasons. First of all, it is going to collect all news articles that have been focusing in on that stock in question in the recent couple weeks, months, however far back you want to click. So if you're wanting to see what the buzz has been about a stock recently, you can come here and it's going to link you to every article it's basically been mentioned in. So for this example, we have NVIDIA. Of course, they've been dominating the news section lately. So it's an easy place to come and see a collection of all of those articles, get an idea of some of those headlines coming out, or click on over and read the entire article. You can toggle between all news, bearish news, and bullish news, depending on what you're wanting to learn more about. And then on the right, we also have our news sentiment score. And what this does is able to scan those articles and figure out if it is more bearish or bullish, and then give you that average on that. So obviously NVIDIA, a lot of love lately. So you can see they're slightly above the sector average for their category there. They've had an above average media buzz lately. Of course, a lot more articles coming out about them. And the news sentiment here, again, very bullish, above the sector average. So it'll give you an idea of how those stocks are doing in the news and give you a quick place that you can go and read all about them and see what people have been saying. And you'll see the stock price compared to the media buzz over the past weeks as well. As the stock price has been gaining, you can see that more of those articles coming out too. So it just gives you an idea of how they're trending within the news sentiment as well. So I think that is all a quick overview of all those tools. And then I believe Jonathan will be able to go through and we'll give you some live examples of all of this as well.
Definitely. Thank you so much again, Julie, for
And
that
Julie, for that
wonderful
wonderful.
intro. And for that great overview of all of TipRanks' tools. We're going to jump right into kind of how to access these tools on the Questrade platform, how to use them, kind of how to find the best investments that are suited to your investment style, whatever your risk tolerance is, whatever your time horizon is. There's something out there for everyone. Just keep in mind again, anything that we cover is for educational, example, and visual purposes only. So, not advice, not recommendations. Before we kick things off, while I navigate over to the platform, I'm just going to start a quick poll for everyone in the audience on which ticker symbol we should maybe use as an example first. So I'll leave the door open for you guys. Please feel free to vote on your favorite ticker that you want us to take a look at first. So while that poll is up, in the meantime, I'm going to head over to our Questrade trading platform. So this is our more simplified trading platform for investors. It's available for everyone. All our platforms are also free. This one you can navigate to after logging in simply by hitting the trading button at the top. And let me just zoom in a little bit here so you guys can see my screen better. And wow, I'm going to leave this poll up a little longer because it is
A
basically
tight
almost
race.
tied. Yeah. I think I see NVIDIA here at the front, but that's really fun. Let's see. I'm just going to switch this over. Okay, I think we've got almost 300 of you guys voted. So I'm going to close that off in a couple of seconds and we'll see what the winner is. Yeah, at this point, I think it's NVIDIA. All right. So I'll share those results with everyone. So the first ticker symbol we are going to cover is NVIDIA. Once again, not advice. This is just an example. Searching a ticker symbol is super easy in the Questrade platform. You just pop it into the symbol search bar up here. Now, I am lagging a little because I'm streaming to all of you guys right now. I promise our real platform's a little snappier. And when you scroll down, you're going to see the TipRanks tools basically right below the key statistics. If this is your first time in the platform, you may have to agree to a disclaimer for you to be able to view these tools. And the first thing we'll start off with is that SMART score that Julie was talking about up here. And then we can kind of see what makes up the SMART score. So everything from the blogger opinions, the news sentiment analysis, technicals, fundamentals, and all of the different kind of data sets that TipRanks has access to. If you want,
Yeah,
you can
not a
also
big surprise that the smart score, I mean, NVIDIA has been very popular as of late, right? So we're seeing a lot of increased activity around them.
definitely. Yeah, I think after the split on Monday, it's been one of the trending symbols for volume this week.
Yeah,
AI has just been taking the world by storm this year. So yeah,
absolutely.
a lot of eyes on NVIDIA. So yeah, this is the TipRanks analysis in Questrade trading. If you use Quest Mobile, our mobile trading app, it looks very similar. When you search up a ticker symbol, I can maybe spend some time on that a little bit later in the webinar if you guys want. But what we're going to do next is move over to our Edge web trading platform. It's a little bit more aimed at sophisticated traders, but anyone can use it. If you haven't enabled Edge Web before, I'll quickly show you guys how you can enable that. It's just under Accounts, All Platforms. And then you just go over to the Questrade Edge tab. And if you haven't already enabled it, there's a big green Add Edge button. So because I've already added it to my account, I don't want to remove it. And if you're interested in any of our other platforms, you can get some info there. If you're ready to move back over to Edge Web, you just click the little lightning bolt icon here. And we're going to continue some analysis. So we looked at NVIDIA. What was number 2 here in the poll? Looks like a tight race between Apple and Enbridge, with Enbridge winning out by a couple of votes. So let's go for something homegrown next. So ticker symbol, super easy to search, just ENB. Now, Enbridge does have a lot of preferred shares. So keep in mind, you're looking at the main ticker symbol. That's either ENB, you're looking on the American side, or ENBTO. Let's stick with the American side here, just because they do have generally better volume on their exchanges. And let's see. So right here underneath the chart, we're going to see the SMART score from earlier. I'll let this load in here. And just because I'm zoomed in, I've got to do a lot of scrolling, but you guys can see a lot of that same information. Now, if you're ever wondering about where TipRanks is getting their info, kind of how all this is assembled, you can also hover over these little information bubbles to get you a little pop-up. and that'll tell you kind of where the data is coming from and what some of these numbers might mean. Now, if you're interested in a deeper look at the analyst ratings, you can either click See More or click the Analyst Ratings tab. And it looks like everyone's pretty divided, but yeah, you can kind of see from the little pie chart here, the analysts, they can't seem to agree on Enbridge. And it's cool. You can see the price target right here on the right, high as low as averages. Looks like it's a moderate buy. And if you hover over any of the analyst names, you can also see their performance and their success rate, which is really cool. So you can see how that analyst has performed with their rating. So let's pick on someone here. Just an example. So let's see, Teresa from Barclays. So it looks like she's got 5 stars. Out of her 250 recommendations, 187 had positive returns and average returns 16%. So looks like she has been right on the money for a lot of her ratings. Just being careful what I say for compliance here, guys. Sorry. But yeah, kind of keep in mind to kind of get your information from a variety of sources. Don't just look at one analyst. Don't get kind of like a narrow view here. I love to look at all of the different tools that TipRanks has available to us. So that's kind of analyst ratings in a nutshell.
And I'll just
Now,
point out while we're on the analyst one here, because you will see the list goes further than the 3 months. So as
mhm,
I mentioned, we calculate those averages and look at the most recent three, but you will see that history go back, some of them well over a year and stuff too. So if you see them in that list, know that they are there so you can see them, but that's not incorporated into those average price targets unless it's been within the last 90 days.
it's a really good call out. Yeah. So just last 90 days. And then speaking of, let's jump over to news analysis. So very similar to what Julie was covering on her side. Our view looks the same. I just have to zoom in and scroll around a little. Sorry, guys, because I'm zoomed in here. But you can basically see the analyst price target at the top, similar as before on the other screen, just a little bit bigger for you. Then if you scroll down, we'll see the sentiment score. So bearish versus bullish, what kind of the sector average is, where Enbridge is sitting, and what all the different news articles are kind of saying. If you want to see all news, or you can sort between bullish and bearish here. Looks like no bearish articles for
So
Enbridge. Wow.
Enbridge, yeah.
Wow. All right. I'm sure there's some bearish news out there, though, if you look.
How you read between the lines there, right? But it's a great place to go and just be able to even scan the headlines and see what types of articles they're being included in and stuff too. It's a great way to sort for different ideas in the sector.
Definitely. And if you're ever curious to read the full article, you can actually click any of these. So let's just pick on the first one here, and this will open in a new tab for you where you can read. This is from CNBC here. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but this will kind of load up the content. Looks like, no, I don't want to join CNBC Pro, but if you keep scrolling, it'll load the content. Most of it is not behind paywalls. So that is news analysis in a nutshell. Now, keep in mind, nothing here is a recommendation to buy or sell. Kind of take this information from a variety of different sources to make your own informed investment decisions. Jumping over to few other tools available from TipRanks are under the research tab here. We can hit research and then go over to daily ratings. This is where we can see kind of what's hot in the market right now. So what's been rated recently, what analysts have rated today or earlier this week. Looks like we've got some ones hot off the press about Lulu. I don't know most of these companies, but I'm sure they do great things in the markets. And if you want, you can actually click in and see a little bit more information by clicking the ticker symbol, which is going to take you back to that analyst ratings page for the individual security. If you want, you can also sort between stars ranking. So if you want, you can only see the 5-star analysts. Don't care about the 1-star guys. You can see buy, hold, sell, whatever your investing style is. And you can also see which actions they've taken. So initiated is usually when an analyst begins covering a symbol for the first time. So it's a brand new symbol for them. Resumed is after kind of like a pause if they haven't covered it for a couple of years. Upgraded means that they have generally raised the price they think the stock should be trading at. Downgraded, it's the opposite. Reiterated, they're just kind of reiterating or repeating that the stock is going to be worth this amount. Not sure what assigned is here, Julie, if you can help out.
Yeah, assigned is almost similar as initiated, but it's the first rating that TipRanks has been able to pick up. So
Hmm.
it's kind of that gray where it's maybe not the first time they've ever rated it, but it's the first one that we've found and put. So it's somewhere between initiated and assigned would be close to that, but just a little grayer.
Good to know. Thank you so much. So yeah, that you can kind of sort through all the different actions, market cap as well, if you only care about the small companies, you only care about the big guys and everything in between, and sectors as well. So if you're looking something in the financial sector, some banks, insurance companies, healthcare, consumer goods, whatever you're interested in, you can kind of sort through that and you'll see a whole bunch of different ratings. Sometimes you won't see anything depending on what you filter. So that's why you can kind of jump through. I generally like to leave it on all stars ranking and then filter it through it myself, unless there's a lot of analyst ratings. Then it's kind of information and overload.
Yeah. And it's worth too to check out those sell ratings once in a while because not many analysts are giving out sell ratings, right? Majority of the time we're seeing those buy ratings or holds come out. So
Mhm.
sometimes searching the opposite of what you're actually interested in can be a fun way to see why are they suddenly switching to sells or get some dirt on that. So don't be afraid to look for those sells too, even if you're not looking to short or do anything crazy. Just interesting to see sometimes who's coming out with some of those sell ratings because they aren't very often.
Yeah, that's actually a really good call out there. And we actually had a quick relevant question from the audience here on how soon this is updated. So how real-time-ish is this when an analyst kind of comes out with a rating?
It
How's
is updated multiple times throughout the day. So we try to keep it as
nice.
accurate as possible. I couldn't tell you exactly like how many minutes or so, but I know throughout the day, as quickly as possible as we can get them out there, it is being updated. So it should be as close to up to date as we can be throughout the day.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's really good to know. It's within a couple hours generally, I'd say.
Yeah.
And then over on trending stocks, very similar to daily ratings, but it's a good place to look if you honestly have no idea where to start sometimes. If you're looking, there's a big list of ticker symbols, you don't know what to analyze, where to start. Trending stocks can kind of give you a good overview. You can switch between US, Canadian markets here, switch between best, worst, and most rated, and you can filter between just the last, couple of days. A lot of action on Apple with their price movement or you can sort between longer time frames, market cap, and sectors. So very similar to daily ratings, a lot of filtering tools here as well.
Yeah, and similar to daily ratings, but this is going to give you that longer view, like going back to the last 30 days and more instead of seeing the individual ratings, you're going to see it all compiled into one place here. So it's not quite as long as list and how it all breaks down. And often you won't be surprised who's at the top of these lists. There's a lot of news or big earnings reports coming out around them that gets Wall Street talking.
Definitely. Wall Street's talking, the analysts are all looking. So just a lot of eyeballs doesn't always make them a good opportunity, right? So sometimes volume doesn't always equal outcome. So just keep that in mind, guys. Make sure to do your own research. Just because you see strong buy, it doesn't always mean it's a strong buy for you. It depends on your risk tolerance, depends on your overall trading style.
Absolutely. And again, we can look at the best rated or just most rated as well. And just because it's trending doesn't mean it's trending positively. It could just be getting a lot of attention, but sometimes that is downgrades or lower price targets. So always worth reading the news and the reasoning behind the fact that it's trending.
Definitely. And that's where, if you want to read more, you can always click on the ticker symbol. That'll take you right back to that page of the quote page, where you can scroll down and see, you want to just see some news about Laurentian Bank, maybe why they're not being rated well, or just dig right into the analyst ratings themselves. So here we can see a lot of hold, a lot of sells, no real buy ratings. So that kind of explains where that high top level moderate sell rating comes from. And then if you want, you can dig into all of the different analyses down here. So that is EdgeWeb and TipRanks in a nutshell here. Just going to quickly scan through the Q&A to see if anything's come up on anything we've discussed so far. Couple of questions. Yep, we've already answered that. Awesome. And really good to see 380 of you in the audience here on a beautiful day here in June. Thank you for sparing your lunchtime to kind of go through these tools with us. And I really hope that you kind of walk away from today's webinar feeling a little bit more informed and a little bit more empowered just to make those decisions. I know it's really tough when you see a lot of these headlines, hundreds of them going back and forth. So it's great to have these tools. What is the cost? Great question. This is completely free. So if you have a Questrade account, You can access any of these TipRanks tools for free. Edge Web, you can also add for free. And this is also available in Edge Desktop, our desktop software. It's available in Quest Mobile and Questrade Trading. So I guess with that, maybe I'll do another quick poll question on platforms to explore. So just curious for the audience here, speaking of different Questrade platforms, which ones do you guys use most often? Are you guys more Edge Web Power users, what I'm showing off now? Are you guys more Questrade trading users, sticking with the kind of simpler investing platform? Do you guys use our apps? And if so, which ones? And this is kind of going to help me determine what we cover next, maybe. In the meantime, while that poll is up, I am also going to share some resources as well. Oh, close race between the platforms. I'm guessing there's a lot of people in the audience who probably use more than one, myself included. I love using Edge Web, desktop. Sometimes I use my phone if I'm on the go. So it does vary. This is just which one do you use most often? Which one do you kind of reach for? So it looks like a lot of people are using Questrade Trading, the web browser. I'll end that poll now and share the results with everyone here, just so you guys can see what everyone else in the audience is using. Um, yeah, a lot of votes for Questrade Trading. So maybe we'll cover this in a little bit more depth and maybe go back to one of our ticker symbols. I think I saw Apple up there in the top voted ones. So why not? The biggest company in the world.
I saw some polls this morning where people were talking about who might be the first to 4 trillion. And I think, it's Apple, Microsoft, another company in there. Like, just crazy how much they grow.
Honestly, yeah. I didn't think a company this big could move this much.
Right?
Yeah. And yeah, this hasn't updated yet for today, but I think they've passed 3 trillion already. Um, who knows if this will last, right? I mean, 20 years ago, number one company was very different. So I love Apple, but who knows if they will always be on the top. This could all just be hype too, just kind of playing both sides here. So scrolling down past key statistics, we'll see, if you do have any positions in Apple, I've got one in this test account here. You can see some data on your P&L, market value, kind of what you bought it for, what percentage of your portfolio it is. And right below that, we'll see the smart score. And 7, I'd say I personally agree with that, I think. Right there might be fair. I'm not sure depending on the price action the last couple of days, but this is basically pulled in from all the different data sources that TipRanks has access to. So the smart
I
score
did
is
see one question too about the smart score that I'll just address. Because it did
mhm,
ask about like which of the 8 factors is ranked higher. So I will
mhm.
just say they are all equally weighted. Each contributes to 12.5% of the smart score. And so, but it is relational to other stocks as well. So it's all kind of staggered that way, but all 8 factors are equally weighted in the smart score.
It's really good to know. So it's not like bloggers have more weight on it versus technicals or
Exactly.
fundamentals. Yeah,
Exactly. So
that's fantastic. And if you guys are ever curious on reading a little bit more on how these features work, I'll get some of my colleagues to share some of those resources that we have on the Questrade website about TipRanks. And you can also explore the TipRanks website as well. They have a bunch of fantastic educational tools, screeners, lots of stuff for free. And I got to plug their YouTube channel as well, where Julie's very active. Lots of posts from their team, trending stocks, dividend stocks that you can look for, and really great kind of market analysis. So definitely check those out if you guys have time. And maybe let's see a couple more questions before we just jump right into just Q&A. I think we'll kind of go Q&A, little platform demo, jump back and forth. When did this start? So we've had TipRanks with Questrade for, I want to say at least 2 years, maybe longer. Don't quote me on that exactly, guys. I think been about 2 years. ETFs, actually, this has come up a lot. So at this time, the Questrade platform does not have TipRanks analysis for ETFs. But Julie, did you want to maybe take us through some of the tools you guys might have on the website that some
yeah,
people might be interested in?
absolutely. So right under the top, under tools, we do have different ETF screeners, and we do actually have a whole ETF section as well. One unique thing that we have where Wall Street analysts don't rank ETFs, right? So you'll never have a strong buy, strong sell on an ETF. What TipRanks does is we look at all of the holdings within ETFs and then average that out based on their position size. And we're able to assign some buy ratings and price targets to these ETFs. So it's a unique way that you can search for different investment ideas. Of course, if you were to click on any of these ETFs, let's say the SPY there, one of the more popular, it's going to give you a complete overview. So here we still have the Smart Score. And again, that is all based on like the hundreds, like the 500 stocks all weighted in on this. You're going to see different details as far as their holdings go. It'll break down the different sectors that each of them are from, top 10%. And then we have different factors like the analyst forecasts. So if you were to click on that near the top, this is where it'll show you based on 504 stock ratings within that, we can see an average price target. And it breaks down below the stocks within the ETF with the highest and lowest. So a lot of unique information on ETFs there. You can look at similar ETFs. If you're looking at a stock and you want to see what ETFs it's held in, there's a lot of different ways to kind of branch off in different research there. Of course, we have a screener and different compare tools and categories. So I won't go into too much. We have a very large ETF section over there on TipRanks with a lot of really unique insight.
I personally use this quite often, so really recommend you guys check this out. A lot of great free tools. I'd say most of TipRanks' tools are free, the ones I use every day. A lot of the paid ones we have integrated with Questrade anyways. And if you guys are looking for that last 10%, 20%, TipRanks does offer some great low-cost monthly options as well that you guys can explore. So fantastic tools. And if you guys really love this ETF tool, let us know. Tell us at feedback@questrade.com. We'd love to add this at some point in the future potentially. So yeah, definitely let our teams know if you guys are using this a lot. And maybe we'll look at one more ETF here. So we've picked on SPY, kind of the biggest S&P 500 one, but let's pick on QQQ. We'll do a NASDAQ one. I personally love this just for even seeing what's inside of an ETF, that holdings
Mm-hmm.
area, to
Yeah.
kind of make sure I don't have overlap. Let's say if I have 5 ETFs in my account, I want to make sure that, there's not holding too many of the same stocks. Otherwise, why have 5 ETFs?
And if you scroll to the very bottom of this screen as well, it'll even not only show you like all the individuals, but the breakdown of the ETF too. So we have the
Hmm.
sectors, different countries in this case, US there, but it'll show you a lot more insights to those holdings as well.
It's fantastic. ETFs by Upside, Smart Score, so many tools. I wish we had time to cover them all, to be honest, guys. So I think we've covered a lot of these questions. Let's see. So,
Oh, I did see a couple people ask about sorting by analyst. So this is something while we're on the
mhm.
TipRanks page, versus looking at a stock and seeing all the analysts. If we go to top experts, you can look at an analyst and see all of their coverage. So if we go into top analysts, I'll give you our list of the top 100 down here to sort out by one first. Might just be loading for a second. Taking its time.
I think some of it might be behind TipRanks Pro or Premium.
Perhaps. Yeah. If we were to click on one of those analysts, it's going to show you not only their different statistics and how they've performed over the last little while, but it'll show you a whole list of their recent stock coverage. So some of this is, of course, behind the pro and premium memberships here, but it will break it down all that if you become one of those members there. And it'll show their different rating distribution, the sector they coverage, pretty much as much info as you want on that analyst there.
This is fantastic. Wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely recommend you guys check this out. Especially if you love, really doing a lot of research, digging deep into the data, kind of seeing what a bunch of different analysts have to say. And yeah, I personally look at both fundamentals and technicals. So TipRanks is great for that. It does combine a lot of that data for you. Do you need to create an account to use the TipRanks free features? No. So you can just go right on their website. I'm not logged in. I do have an account, but I'm not logged in right now for this webinar. So those free features are available to everyone.
The
Let's see.
perk of having an account is that you can like add stocks to your different watch list and follow different analysts too, and they'll give you
Hmm.
different updates and stuff as well.
Definitely set up your watch list, your favorites, and things to keep an eye on.
Oh, and I do see a question about the criteria for an analyst star rating.
Hmm.
And we have this right on our site how we do it. So we look at a few different factors because you are right. One person could say like, "Oh, I got this right once," so that's 100% success rate. But we do look at the statistical significance and the frequency of these ratings. It all goes into that. So it's not just successful or not, but it is the statistical significance on how many ratings they're making and how often they are successful, along with the rate of return and everything on those investments. So we do take all that into account in the rating system.
It's really good to know. So those analysts that only have like two, three ratings, even though they might have been winners on all of them so far,
Yeah,
they're not as statistically significant as someone who's got like 200 out of 250, let's say.
exactly. Right. I mean, a broken clock is right twice a day. So we look at how many times have they continued to be successful. And that does, yeah, play a factor there.
I really like that. I think it kind of goes back to I think it's either a tagline for TipRanks or one of your trademarks. It's keeping Wall Street accountable. That's
Yeah.
exactly what you guys are doing here with these analyst ratings and kind of if they're bad, you guys call them
Yeah,
out, and I love that.
that's our origin story was our CEO, took a stock tip from someone that came from what sounded like a very reputable company, and it didn't
Mhm.
do so well. And that really got him thinking, like, how successful are these analysts often and who is worth listening to? And that's how it all was born. So, yeah,
It's,
really driving that accountability.
I love that. Yeah, let's definitely continue to keep them accountable. So,
Yeah.
hope you guys like these features so far. I think I got one more poll here while we wrap things up, and that was maybe the favorite TipRanks feature that we covered today. So, curious which ones you guys found the most value in. Was it maybe the Smart Score? Was it some of the daily analyst ratings? Was it the news analysis potentially? So, feel free to vote on your favorite feature here. And definitely, if you guys want us to support more features, let us know at feedback@questrade.com. We'd love to hear about it. And if you guys continue to use TipRanks, we're happy to continue supporting this as long as we can. I know it's a tool that I use on a daily basis for my trades, my analysis. So thank you guys again for everything.
Yeah, I'm glad to see everyone loves the smart score and analyst ratings there. And hopefully it's a helpful part to all the investment research going on there on the platform. We're happy to be integrated.
Awesome. And I think I'll finish the poll here. We've got almost 200 people voted. And it looks like, yes, Smart Score was the number one feature. I personally love it because it just summarizes everything for you really neatly. If you guys are curious about how the Smart Score works in depth, like I said, please feel free to check out some of those resources that my colleagues shared at the bottom of your Zoom screen. It's also on the Questrade Learning website as well. And thank you so much again for your time today. Thank you so much, Julie, for the wonderful presentation and for taking us through all the tools.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Awesome. Thanks again, everyone, and happy Wednesday.